What a hard-fought win. Obviously, we want to give a lot of credit to UTSA. We knew they were going to be tough. I mean, they're a conference championship team. They won their conference last year. They will do it again this year. They are very well coached, and they play super hard. In fact, our theme for their game was to win the paint and defend the paint, and you can see why, because it was so physical. But I thought that our kids, I didn't think that we came out with the right mindset for attack mode. And I felt like we kind of played on our heels a little bit in the first half, but I thought our kids really, really, really responded in the second half and really enjoyed the battle. They enjoyed the competition, and they grew their lead, and they played with a lot of composure. So it was fun to watch.
Bailey, you passed your coach tonight on the all-time scoring list. Have you let her know about that yet, or kind of what you're feeling there?
Just let me know. But no, it's an honor to be have my name talked about in the same place that hers is. So it's an honor.
Sure. I think third quarter you didn't attempt a shot, and then the fourth quarter you kind of broke open. Was there a reason for that, or just intentionally got a little bit more aggressive?
No, we were just hitting the hot hand, and maybe in the third quarter it wasn't me. I'm pretty sure it was Danae in the third quarter. But when you pass the ball and you move the ball and you have great teammates, it always seems to come back.
And then how have you enjoyed so far this season, first couple of games, getting to play alongside Hema and I guess Sydney eventually out there?
It's been amazing. They're two great point guards. Super happy to have them on this roster, on this team. But that goes for everybody. Everybody is mature, knows what we want, hard-nosed, and I think if we keep our heads down, we'll achieve anything.
It's a second game back after not playing, at least in front of fans, for over a year. I guess first off, just how are you feeling?
I feel blessed. I'm grateful that I have the opportunity. I'm just taking it a day at a time, getting comfortable with this new program and the new spot. So, it's a blessing. I'm excited for the season. So.
In both games, you seem to kind of break out in the second half. What about the six-man role are you kind of excelling at right now?
Right now, I think I just need to get a little more active in the first half. But like I said, I'm taking it a day at a time, and I'm just doing whatever Coach Gerlich need me to do coming off the bench.
And then for both of y'all players, if you don't mind, I think y'all outscored them like 40-14 after that double Titan Cole moment. I guess what happened in the huddle, and what did y'all kind of turn up intensity-wise to take over the game from there?
At that point, it's just a matter of having your teammates' backs. And for Jalen and Danae to go out and put their bodies on the line and, show that they care, that's only right for us to go back into the game and show them that we have their backs as well. We knew it was time to turn it on. When things like that happen, you either rise to the occasion or you fall.
It's not if you have anything to add or.
No, she said it all. That's right on.
That's all I have.
Thank you.
Did y'all have much tape on UTSA coming into this from preseason stuff, or is it all based on last year?
We had zero tape, because they played a close scrimmage, and so we didn't even have an exhibition game to look at. So everything was off of last year, and then you try to just pull clips of their new players from where they were. So it's pretty difficult.
Yeah, I imagine so. Obviously, foul trouble is a talking point again. I know you're all working on that, but what did you see from players like Julie and Mimi, even Bird got in there early because of that?
Yeah, I love the fact that at the end of the first quarter, I believe, maybe it was the end of the second. It was the end of the second quarter when we came out and we scored in the last seconds of the quarter, and Mimi and Adley were on the floor and executing that. I think that's. I think that's a difficult thing to do when you come off the bench, is to be able to execute in high-pressure moments. And I think that's a high-pressure moment when the clock's running down. And so it was really great to see Mimi execute that, and for Adley to see her shot go down. Coach Katera told Adley before the game that she was going to make every shot she shot, and it was fun to see that happen on the first one that she took. But I thought Julie came in and gave us some good minutes as far as just being. She plays so hard. There's nobody's ever going to outplay her, and so or outwork her. And so she, I thought that she did some good things, and still was a little nervous. It's a big moment for her, and we want to keep getting her some more minutes so that she feels more comfortable.
I know the foul thing, like you mentioned in the beginning, but Jalen specifically, I think 2 of her early 3 ones were like 90 feet from the basket. I guess what does that balance to try to get her to understand, like, we need you on the floor?
Yeah, definitely has to be smarter, right? I mean, we don't want her picking up fouls, and we want her to be aggressive in the press, but she's got to be smart that when they're in front of her, she can't reach. And, we need her to be able to use her fouls inside when she's trying to block shots and rebound. So she'll just get smarter doing that as the season goes on. But we definitely have to understand how to play physical without fouling. And there is a fine line there. I mean, we got a couple of post players that got fouls for hooking, and you just can't do that. Like, they've got to get their arm bar on the outside of them and not hook so that they don't get cheap fouls like that.
And in that technical moment, I know you can't probably talk about it too much, but as far as any explanations you got, it looked like maybe they warned Fritz the play right before that. Is that kind of what led to the quick whistle, I guess, on her celebration?
Yes. They definitely warned her that play before that. I think she might have said something after a play, and then when she scored, I think she did the too short. Is that what it's called? Too small. The too small, and which she knows better, and she just can't do that. I mean, that's especially when it's in a high pressured situation and maybe the game's on the line or something like that. And she knows. She immediately said, "I shouldn't have done that." But I love the fact that they, are getting caught up in the competition and the battle. And I've never ask them to shy away from playing with passion and play with, just a lot of fight within them. So, everybody's going to get a little heated at times, and Lord knows I do too, but we definitely have to make sure that we're doing it in the right way so that we're not getting penalized for it.
Kind of the same thing I asked your players, but how do you like their response to that emotional moment to outscore them the way that y'all did?
Yeah, I liked it a lot, and to be honest, I liked their response coming out at halftime too, because we blistered them pretty good at halftime to just try to get their attention, to get them to fight a little harder. And I thought that they really pulled together after the technicals and all that. I thought our timeout was really productive, and I thought that it was really together. And before that, I wasn't seeing a lot of togetherness on the floor, and we've got to stick together, and especially when things start getting a little bit out of control or just a little bit chaotic. So I really liked their togetherness when they came out of that timeout.
And Bailey was humble as always about her teammates in that third quarter, but do you see her taking over a little bit more? And kind of even the second quarter, she had some moments like that where it seemed like she started taking more shots.
Yeah, I think she definitely found her spots where she was going to be open, like in the fourth quarter. She found some spots at the three-point line. But I think in the third quarter, we were, and particularly this game too, we were really trying to attack some mismatches that didn't involve her. And so I think that's probably the reason that she wasn't getting many looks in the third quarter. But what I liked is that Snuddish came alive in the third quarter. Jalen got going a little bit in the third quarter, and so those were the two that we were trying to ISO a little bit, and therefore, because of that, it opened up Bailey a little bit more, and she responded.
I guess what would you say to her passing you on the all-time
I love
scoring?
it. That's why you bring them here, right? Like, I want them to come in here and oh my gosh, I want them to be the second national championships, champions of Texas Tech. I mean, I love that. And I will say this, that's not going to be happening very much. Moving forward with the way the transfer portal is. So it speaks to Bailey for sticking and staying here and leaving her name and her legacy in the record books. Like, that's big time.
And then just lastly, on the physicality, it kind of looked and seemed like a Big 12 game out there physicality-wise. It sounds like y'all were expecting that.
Yeah, we definitely were expecting it, and it was very physical. It's interesting that the officials are letting it get that physical this early, but at the same time, that's why we scheduled UTSA. We knew that would be a really tough game. They're going to win the conference, or they won it last year, so that game will help us on down the line.
And just to follow up on that, players like Snuda and even Hema, I think she had 7 rebounds, tied for the lead, 5'6" point guard. And then what Collins did off the bench for you, how much does that help with that physicality?
Yeah, well, tremendously, right? I mean, we need Snuda to rebound the basketball more. It always helps when your point guard's rebounding as well. And I think the last game, Bailey had, I think 7 or 8, and she didn't have any tonight, which is interesting. But I think we're going to have to rebound by committee, and we got out rebounded, which we were getting blistered on the boards in the first half or in the first quarter, and we certainly were talking about that in the timeouts. But we'll have to rebound by committee all year long. So we need everybody to do their part.
That's all I got.
Man, you did good, girl. Way to go.